Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. The show sadly opened with no Excalibur on commentary again, but it did feature the epic 12-man tag of the Elite and FTR versus the Dark Order, starting straight away with both teams facing off against each other. The camera work was superb in the introductions. The only way it could have been improved, and this is nitpicking, is 98 more camera cuts and crash zooms. With 12 people in the ring and Omega alone raising everyone's average star rating by 4.5, the action was excellent, leveled up significantly by tremendous attention to storytelling and character. The conflict wasn't just between the faces and heels. There was dramatic tension in the very teams themselves. Is Colt Cabana actually with the Dark Order now? And which part of the FTR Elite team does Hangman Page prefer? FTR going by this match. They attempted a triple figure 4 spot together, figure 12, quick maths, and it was Page who helped Dax to the back when he hurt his knee. Further sowing tension, Omega and Page's miscommunication led to Hangman turning right around into Brody's brutal discus clothesline to lose, which I popped so hard for. Not just because the Dark Order looks so incredibly awesome all standing next to each other, look how cool they are, but also because it's the right decision. FTR and the Elite beat themselves. They have an out for losing, and Dark Order just got a very high profile win. Characters developed, storylines furthered, multiple feuds spinning, all while making everyone involved more over than they were when they started. This is wrestling booking at its finest. Santana and Ortiz took on Best Friends next as both teams refocused on the tag division. This was a really solid match, with Trent being worked over throughout, but rolling up Ortiz for the win, again showing how much stock AEW are putting in Trent. But the feud isn't done there, as Proud and Powerful later went and destroyed Trent's mum Sue's car with sledgehammers. How dare you, Santana and Ortiz? Trent's mum is a saint! I've got to call AEW out for something though, as we do the same thing when WWE do it. Why were their cameras placed inside the car for the supposedly impromptu attack? Matt Hardy continued his feud with Sammy Guevara with a great hardcore brawl, featuring a chair thrown from Sammy at Matt's face, which cut him open Hardy way. Because Hardy's his last name. And Sammy doing a front flip off the stage through the table. Sadly, Matt Cardona's in-ring debut was one of the weakest things on the episode. Don't try to trick me with that pyro, Cody! I actually came out the match far more invested in the Dark Order team of John Silver and Alex Reynolds, who had some fantastic sequences working over Cody. Matt got the hot tag, ran wild for a bit, and won with the rough Cardona. This wasn't the big performance he needed to shake the last decade of bad WWE booking away. And with Scorpio Sky coming out to stare down Cody afterwards ahead of their TNT title match next week, it made Cardona the third most important thing in his own debut segment. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Eric Bischoff on a TNT wrestling program in 2020 was far more effective, because he's back and better than ever. As leaked by Reddit last week, Bischoff replaced Vacant as the mystery moderator for AEW Super Wednesday debate between Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy. And for a change with nostalgia pops from the past, he wasn't overexposed, he was used to make everyone else look good, and it actually made me want to see more of him in AEW. And the debate segment itself was pretty good too. In an old school joke, literally old school as in the Will Ferrell comedy, Cassidy didn't answer most of the questions, but gave a long, eloquently detailed answer on climate change, and then picked apart Jericho at the end, saying he doesn't care about this debate, but he takes their match next week very seriously. Bischoff awarded the win to Cassidy, so Jericho and Jake Hager beat him up. It's Judas effective. But annoyingly, AEW can't just stuff all their women's wrestling on their YouTube channel and subscription platform. Sometimes they have to put it on their flagship show too. Britt Baker chose Reba to face Big Swole. Reba pretended she didn't know how to wrestle, as kayfabe-wise, she's the hair and makeup person, not a former TNA star, and almost beat Swole before Swole knocked her out. I love Baker. I am into this story, but not to the expense of the rest of the women's division. But in the AEW title picture, MJF had another excellent campaign promo where he toured his HQ, revealed he's winning the polls by 188%, and then confirmed Tony Khan has put him in the All Out World title match. But will he be facing Moxley or Darby Allin. The two had a surprisingly emotional main event for the belt, set up perfectly by a Mox promo earlier when he warned, "When it's time to stay down, just stay down," even though I know you're not going to listen, because I wouldn't. Because Moxley wasn't just fighting Darby, he was fighting the younger version of himself, kind of like that Will Smith movie where Will Smith fought Will Smith. In a really sweetly told story, well, as sweet as you can get when it involves choking a man unconscious, Moxley was trapped between admiration for Allin, who never gave up, and wanting him to give up because of that admiration and not wanting to end his career. And there was another twist when Wardlow distracted the referee, letting MJF clobber Mox with the title. Ultimately, Mox finished off Darby with a sleeper, gotch pile driver and paradigm shift, and the show went off air as he cradled Allen's head in his arms in respect, which beautifully didn't just come across like Mox making peace with Darby, but also Mox making peace with his younger, tortured self. That was this week's Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere while not crying about Jon Moxley. You're crying! I thought this was an amazing episode. The opener was superb, the main event was emotional, Eric Bischoff was a rare, effective nostalgia cameo, and everyone felt more over than they did last week. Apart from the women's division. This week's Dynamite is 4 out of 5.